सकती जो ज़ईफ़ी में ढल नहीं सकती वो जवानी हुसैन देते हुसैन देते बयानी हुसैन देते हैं
Very nicely done. Thank you so much. Mehdi, could I request you to come up to the front? Mehdi has a short speech related to our 6th Imam. Let's welcome him with a loud salawat.
Dear brothers and sisters, today I want to share with you the inspiring story of Imam Jafar al-Sadiq, the 6th Imam of 12th Shia Islam. Imam al-Sadiq was not only a religious leader, but also a brilliant scholar, scientist, and thinker. He dedicated his life to spreading knowledge and wisdom, and the teachings have had a profound impact on our faith. One of the most remarkable aspects of Imam al-Sadiq's life was his commitment to promoting intellectual environment and critical thinking. He established a renowned school of thought in Medina, with scholars from all over the world came to study and learn. Imam al-Sadiq was also known for his humility, kindness, and compassion towards others. He treated everyone with respect and dignity, regardless of their backgrounds or beliefs. But perhaps the most important lesson we can learn from Imam al-Sadiq is his emphasis on the importance of seeking knowledge. He once said, "Seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave, reminding us that learning is a lifelong journey that never ends." As young members of the community, let's follow in the footsteps of Imam al-Sadiq by embracing the pursuit of knowledge, promoting unity and understanding, and embodying the values of compassion and kindness in our daily lives. Thank you so much.
Nicely done. Thank you so very much. That's it for the recitals. We will now obviously ask our keynote speaker to come. I just want to mention, guys, that you can go ahead and get teas whenever you like. It's not just for at the end. Just feel comfortable, relaxed. We are obviously in a safe, a relaxed environment. And it's now time to embrace the opportunity to delve deep and learn about our 6th Imam. And what better way to do it than having an expert with us, an Islamic scholar with us, who I am utmost pleasure of mine and honor of mine to introduce. So let's extend a warm welcome to Sayyid Muhammad Rizvi with a loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil barak.
Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على أفضل الموجودات العبد المؤيد الرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد والمحمود الأحمد سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا صاحب البقاء والسكينة المدفون بأرض المدينة أبي القاسم محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الأولين والآخرين آمين يا رب العالمين. فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه الكريم وهو أصدق القائلين وقوله الحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين. صلوات. I offer my condolences on the day of the martyrdom of our sixth holy Imam, Jafar bin Muhammad Sadiq, alayhi salatu wassalam. To first and foremost the 12th Imam, and after that to all of the lovers of the sixth, the Shia, those who call themselves as followers of the sect or the jurisprudence of the fiqh of Imam Sadiq. For without a doubt, when it comes to Ummah, we are Ummat Muhammadi. And when it comes to the sect, then we are Alawi. And when it comes to Azadari, then we are Husayni. But when it comes to fiqh, then we are Jafari. Now they all are one. In essence, they're all one. But look at how they're beautifully divided and separated. Ummah of the Prophet. Yes, but Ummah had sects. 73 sects shall be formed out of the Ummah, as the Riwayah, as the Hadith says. But only one firqa, only one sect will have salvation, najat. Ya Ali anta wa shi'atuka. O Ali, you wa shi'atuka. Farizun yawm al-qiyamah. You and your Shia. So we are no doubt the Ummah of the Prophet. But we claim a sect. You know, some people say, well, I'm not Sunni or Shia, I'm Muslim. No, there's no such thing. You're either Sunni or you're Shia. Or you're nothing. How do you pray? How do you fast? When do you break your fast? Which fiqh are you following? You know? So don't fall in this trap. No, I'm not Sunni, I'm not Shia, I'm Muslim. No, it doesn't exist. We live at a time, you're something. You're something or you're nothing. And we are proud Alawi. Proud Shia to Amir al-Mu'mineen. Because only one firqa was proud. Even the ulama by the Sunnah, they don't deny the hadith. No, they say the hadith is sahih. But they say we are the Shia to and we say we are the Shia to and they say they are the Shia to and they say they are the Shia to At least one thing becomes evident that everyone wants to be Shia to Okay? But yet when it comes to jurisprudence, when it comes to fiqh, then there is no doubt that we are Jafari. Now, before I get to that, let me just go back to the ayah that I had the honor of reciting. Surah Al-Tawbah, verse 119. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives a clear command, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, or you who believe, ittaqullah wa kunu ma'as sadiqin. Fear two things, simple and plain. Or you will believe, number one, ittaqullah, fear God. Taqwa ilahi. Wa kunu ma'as sadiqin, and be with the sadiqin, the truthful ones, the ones who speak the truth. Very simple. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. He comes out and he speaks to the Muhajirun and the Ansar. When? In the time of the third caliphate. The time of the third Khalifa, he comes out. He gathers the Muhajirun and the Ansar. And he mentions this ayah. He says, when this ayah was revealed, Salman al-Farisi approached the Holy Prophet. The same Salman bin Ahl al-Bayt. Salman went to the Prophet and says, Ya Rasulullah, is this ayah khas or am? Is it specific or general? Okay? The Prophet said it's both. He says, what do you mean? How is this one ayah am and khas? How is it specific and general? He says because the ayah within it contains a command. There's an amr. Ittaqullah. Allah is saying, do something. وَكُونُوا مَعَ الصَّادِقِينَ, and be the truthful. The Prophet says, oh Salman, it is both. It is am and khas. He says, how? He says, when Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, it's am, anyone who believes. It's general. But when he says, Kunu ma'a sadiqin, it's khas. It's specific. So when Allah says, oh you who believe, that means anyone who believed in Allah and the Messenger is commanded here. But when he says, Kunu ma'a sadiqin, not anyone who speaks the truth. These are certain specific individuals. Ya Rasulullah, man hum? Who are these sadiqun? Kunu ma'a sadiqin. Who are they? It says, I am the first of them. I am Rasulullah. Who is it then? Akhi Ali ibn Abi Talib. Who is it then? His son Hassan. Who is it then? Then Hussein. And then, وَتِسْأَةِ الْمَعْصُومِينَ مِنْ زُرِّيَّةِ الْحُسَيْنِ. The nine infallible Imams who will come from the progeny of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. So after Imam Hussein, Zayn al-Abidin is from the Sadiqeen. Muhammad al-Baqir is from the Sadiqeen. And Jafar al-Sadiq is from the Sadiqeen. وَكُونُوا مَعَ الصَّادِقِينَ. So the Prophet said the command is for everyone. Anyone who believes, you be with the truthful ones. These truthful ones are specific. And Amir al-Mu'minin says, the Muhajirun, is there anyone other than you, is anyone other than me between you and us? And he says, is there anyone other than me here today for whom the verse Kunu ma'a sadiqin was revealed? قالوا اللهم لا. He said, no. Oh Ali, this is only for you and your progeny. And Kunu ma'a sadiqin includes Imam Jafar al-Sadiq. And why would not? For someone who has the name of Sadiq. The only Sadiq in the Sadiqeen. And Allah says, this is Rasulullah, this is specific to them. So the verse is clear, it's two. One verse asks for two simple things. Ittaqullah, what is ittaqullah? Fear God. Halal, haram. Muharramat, you stay away from. Wajibat, one does. And that all comes from the Quran. So ittaqullah is the wajibat, the muharramat, the Quran. Wa kunu ma'a sadiqin is Ahlul Bayt. So one verse manifests in itself the hadith of Saqalain. Ittaqullah, you with me? Quran, wa kunu ma'a sadiqin, Ahlul Bayt. So the same thing that the Prophet said in the hadith of Saqalain is found in this one verse. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, two things. Ittaqullah wa kunu ma'a sadiqin. Rasulullah says two things. Inni tariku fikum mustaqalain, kitabullah wa itrati.
आवाज़ बुलंद सलवात
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa alihi wa sallam.
Okay? So, now going back to the Holy Imam. The Holy Imam is amongst those whom the Quran instructs you to be with them. How? In character. How? In obedience to them. You know, one of the students, professional debaters, top theologians, mutakallim, expert of ilm al-kalam, was a direct student of Imam Sadiq. That the opposition, the non-Shia, they used to call him Shaitan al-Taq. To make fun. And they said, debate with anyone, don't debate with him, he's Shaitan. Even though he was directly trained by Imam Sadiq. I'll give you an example. One day, Mu'min al-Taq debates with the opposition. By opposition, I mean non-Shia, of course, of that time. And they said to him, look, let's have a debate. Mu'min al-Ta'q says, no problem, we'll have a debate. But I want a judge to judge between us. So they bring out 3 judges. None of them were Shia. So Mu'min al-Ta'q says, okay, no problem. They can be the judge. But I hope that they will be neutral in judging. He says, look, so this person who's debating with him is Ibn Khidra. Ibn Khidra and Mu'min al-Ta'q. Mu'min al-Ta'q is a companion, a student of the 6th Holy Imam. Remember that. Now, when he debates, he says, look, I will prove to you that there is no one more truthful than so and so. The first guy. And you refute it if you can. Okay? So he gets up, Ibn Khidra, and he says, it was the first guy. Do you refute that? So yes, I do. He says, what is your daleel? What is your evidence? He says, the evidence is simple. It was the Ummah who called him Sadiq. But it was Rasulullah who called Ali Sadiq al-Akbar. Okay? Just listen to how he responds to this. Number one, he says, yeah, he was Sadiq, but the Ummah, the people called him Sadiq. Yet when it comes to Ali ibn Abi Talib, it was directly from Rasulullah. How the most truthful of their nations. Number one, Mu'min al-Yasin. Habibun Najjar. You know in the Surah Yasin, you have a mention of this man who comes running and he says, believe in the prophets. This was Habib al-Najjar. If you refer to the Tariq. And he was known as Mu'min al-Yasin for the prophets. They speak the truth. These are the prophets of God. Believe them. They don't lie. They don't even ask you for money. You know, and subhanAllah, look at it. The prophets did so much. The prophets never even asked for money. The prophets never asked for anything. Except Rasulullah. What did he ask for? Mawadda. No prophet asked for anything except our prophet. And even that, it was not that he wanted gold and silver coins. It says, لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إلا المودة في القربى. So he says, look, the people call it. And then the hadith of Ibn Abbas, number one, Mu'min al-Yasin. Number two, Mu'min al-Fir'aun. The first of Bani Israel to accept Musa alayhi. And number three, the Siddiq, هذه الأمة, Ali ibn Abi Talib. But there's a difference. وَعَلِيٌّ أَفْضَلُهُمْ. Mu'min al-Yasin is Siddiq, Mu'min al-Fir'aun is Siddiq, Ali ibn Abi Talib is Siddiq, but Ali is Siddiq al-Akbar. Ali is the greatest of them. You put all of them together, Ali ibn Abi Talib is greater than them. Ali ibn Abi Talib is above and beyond them. You know? So he does not put him in the same category. He puts Aliyun afdaluhum. Ali is above them all. So he says to him, back to the debate, he says, oh, Mu'min al-Ta'q. No. What is your evidence? Quran. You know some people are Quranists, as they call themselves. Quraniyun. And we only take Quran. If it doesn't come from Quran, we're not interested. This reminds me of Hasbuna Kitabullah. So we're not Quraniyun. We're not Quranists. Quran wa Ahlul Bayt. Quran wa Hadith. So, he says, okay, what is the dalil from the Quran? That Ali is Siddiq. Mu'min al-Ta'q says, Ayah al-Mubahara. Why? ثم نقتهل ونجعل لعنة الله على الكاذبين. Because the la'an, the curse of Allah is on the kadhibeen. So the one who will make the la'an has to be Siddiq. So the one who curses the lies has to be truthful. And Sunni Shia agree, and there is no ikhtilaf on this. And by the way, ayah Mubahila is the only ayah in which there is no ikhtilaf in Sunni and Shia. Ayah Tathir, there is plenty of ikhtilaf. Ayah Mawadda, there is ikhtilaf. Khums, there is ikhtilaf. But Ayatul Mubahala, there is zero ikhtilaf. Because all of the Mufassirin and the Mu'arrikhin and the Muhaddithin of the Ahlul Sunnah have written that only 5 people went. Muhammad, Ali, Fatima, Hassan, Hussein.
Salawat.
And so he says, Ayah Mubahila is testament to that. That it was only Ali ibn Abi Talib who occupied the rank of a Sadiq alongside Rasulullah. Had there been anyone who was a Siddiq or a more truthful person, why did Rasulullah not invite him to Mubarak? Why was he not called? And so, for this reason, he says, the truthhood of Ali is established within the Holy Quran. And so Mu'min al-Ta'a emerges and they say to the judges, is what he's saying is correct? 3 of them, non-Shia judges. They said, yes, he's right. No one can deny Mubahala. No one can deny it. And this is Mu'min al-Ta'a. And Mu'min al-Ta'a, remember, was trained by the 6th Holy Imam. Now come to the 6th Holy Imam. If Ali was the Siddiq of his time, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam was the Siddiq of his time. People ask the question, Limaza Ja'fari? Why are you Ja'fari? You could have been any. You ask yourself that question in a time we live in now, where you're surrounded by polemics and debates. Why am I Ja'fari? The first thing that comes to mind, at my mind at least, is the fact that it was Imam Jafar Sadiq who taught Imam Abu Hanifa. It was Imam Jafar Sadiq who taught Imam Al-Malik, who then in turn taught the other 2 Imams, which make the 4 A'immatul Arba, or the 4 fiqh of Ahlul Sunnah. So their silsila goes back to Jafar Sadiq. So then why would I take something which is of a less better option when I have the best? I don't know if this is getting out there or maybe I'm just hyper. Okay, so you're listening. Excellent. The point is, when you have afdal, why would you go for mafdul? When you have the best, why would you go for good? And for this reason, Abu Hanifa would say, لَوْلَا أَسَّنَتَانِ لَهَلَكَ نُعْمَانِ. Had it not been for those 2 years that I spent in Medina, in Hijaz, under the teachings of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, I would have perished. In fact, he learned so many hadith. Imam Sadiq used to say, Imam Sadiq is my Shaykh, Shaykh al-Hadith. Imam Sadiq is my Shaykh al-Hadith. I learned hadith from him. The amount of scholars and philosophers and ulama and fuqaha who have come out of the house of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam, and they would say, حدثني Jafar ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq. حدثني Jafar ibn Muhammad. I was taught by Jafar ibn Muhammad. I was narrated this from Jafar ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq. I learned this hadith, حدثني من Jafar al-Sadiq. The person who's put a doubt in this is Ibn Taymiyyah. He's put a doubt in this. You know what he says? No. Abu Hanifa was not a student of Jafar. How is it possible? Abu Hanifa and Imam Sadiq are the same age. In fact, Abu Hanifa may be older. A few years older. So this Ibn Taymiyyah, as you know, is a Wahhabi, Nasiri, Salafi. He says, no, this is a kizm of the Shia. This is a lie of the Shia. The Shias have lied. Abu Hanifa was not a student of Jafar Sadiq. But there's only one reason he does that. It is because of the bughz of Ali Muhammad that he had in his heart. Because you have other Sunni ulama, mu'arrikhin who have a far greater rank than Ibn Taymiyyah will ever have. Like Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, Ibn Hajar Makki, Allama Shablanji, Mufti Ghulam Rasulov, has written published his biography of Imam Sadiq in London, Subh Sadiq. They refuted it, that Sunni ulama have refuted Ibn Taymiyyah. They said, without a doubt, Abu Hanifa took lessons from Imam Sadiq. In fact, one of them says Imam Abu Hanifa would sit at the feet of Imam Sadiq. But what is the real history? The real history is actually Abu Hanifa, not only the student of Imam Sadiq. Abu Hanifa is the student of Imam Sadiq and Imam al-Baqir, his father. His silsila goes back to Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam. He used to learn from Imam Muhammad al-Baqir alayhi salam. And once or twice he came to the house of Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam and Imam was not there. But his young son Imam Sadiq was there. And one day Imam Sadiq came to Abu Hanifa. He said, are you Abu Hanifa? He says, yes. He said, my father's away. Ask me. You're a young child. And traditions have put, historians, they have put together some of the, speeches that have taken place between Abu Hanifa and Imam Sadiq. I'll give an example. One day Abu Hanifa knocks on the door. He says to Imam Sadiq, I want to enter. Do I have permission to enter? And Imam Sadiq refuses him permission. And after some time, some people come to meet the Holy Imam from the Shia of Imam Sadiq. The Imam gives them permission. And with them Abu Hanifa enters. And he says to him, Ya Jafar ibn Muhammad, why don't you come to Kufa and tell the Kufis to stop cursing the Sahaba? Because Kufa is Shia. So he said something strange. He says, why don't you come to Kufa and tell the Kufans that they need to stop cursing the companions? The Imam smiles at him and he says, look, what makes you think they will listen to me? No, they will listen to you. He says, no, why would they? Even you didn't listen to me. I didn't give you permission to enter my house. Yet you entered with them. I didn't give you permission to ask me a question. I didn't give you permission to sit. So what makes you, if you're not listening, what makes you think they'll listen? And then there's a debate that takes place. He says, Abu Hanifa, do you give fatwa? He says, yes. Do you consider yourself alim? He says, yes. He says, okay, fine. I have a few questions. Now imagine the Imam is younger than him when he's testing. It says to him, Abu Hanifa, tell me of that statement, that famous statement, which begins with kufr and ends with iman. He thinks, he ponders, so what do you mean? So the one statement that begins with disbelief and ends in belief, he said, I don't know. It says the same statement that you read day and night. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha is kufr. Illallah is tawheed. It begins with kufr and ends with iman. He says, oh, Abu Hanifa, what is your fatwa of the muhrim who wears the ihram for hajj? Because hunting becomes haram. He hunts a deer, wounding the deer that he breaks the teeth, the side teeth, known as the rubai or the rubaya in Arabic, of the deer. You have the front teeth, then you have the molars, the back teeth, but then when you have the canines, what about the side teeth? He breaks them. What is the fatwa of that? What? I don't know. He says, you call yourself a alim, and you don't even know that deer doesn't have those teeth. And you can go check it. The deer doesn't have the front teeth, back teeth, gap in the middle. Because I checked it. Not that I need to check it. The sixth Imam said it, that's enough. And then he says to Imam Abu Hanifa, fine, tell me this then. What do you classify as a wise man? A wise man is one who knows good from bad. He knows his friends from his foes. The Imam replies to him, even the animal knows that. The animal knows his friends and he knows his enemy. The animal loves and the animal attacks. So then you tell me, what is it? It says the good man is the one, if presented with two good options, he knows to take the better one. And if presented with two bad options, he takes the less negative one. Now you tell me, is Abu Hanifa being taught a lesson or not? So he becomes the student of Imam Sadiq. Even that is enough. Now remember, when we say Imam Abu Hanifa, and when we say Imam Sadiq, and we say Imam Al-Malik, or Imam Al-Shafi'i, or Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, the word Imam is the same. But there's a difference between when we say Imam Sadiq and Imam Abu Hanifa. Because Imam Abu Hanifa became Imam by learning, whereas Imam Sadiq is an Imam who inherits the ilm of the Prophet. How? Let's go right back to Surah Al-Jum'ah. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة. They came to Imam Muhammad Taqi al-Jawad alayhi salatu wasalam. And they said to him, it is Allah who raised amongst the illiterate Arabs a prophet like them or from them who was an illiterate prophet. The Imam said to him, what do they say? The non-Shia. They say Ibn Imam Muhammad Taqi al-Jawad. Imam says, tell me, what do they say? By they he means the non-Shia. They say, the Ravi says, Mawla, they say that the Prophet was illiterate. He couldn't read or write. The Imam says they are liars. And may Allah curse the liars if they say something like that about my judge Rasulullah. He said, Mawla, what do you say? Ya Ibn Rasulullah, what is your position? So my position is the position of the Holy Quran. They only read half the ayah. What does Allah say? هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته. He has raised a prophet in the illiterate Arabs who reads to them his verses. ويزكيهم, he purifies them. ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة, and he teaches them the book and wisdom. If he was illiterate, then how is he reading? How is he teaching? How is he purifying? The fact that he reads and he purifies and he teaches is evident to the fact that not only did he not read and write, he was sent as a muallim, as a teacher. You know, the philosophers say that there is a first teacher and a second teacher. Socrates and Aristotle, Socrates and Aristotle. Muallim awwal, muallim thani. The first teacher and the second teacher in philosophy. We say the same. The only difference is muallim awwal is Muhammad, muallim thani is Ali ibn Abi Talib. He says, how is it that the Prophet reads them verses? يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِهِ وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ, he purifies them. And he teaches them kitab and wisdom and book. If a man cannot read the book, how is he teaching the book? If a man does not have hikmah, how is he giving hikmah? If a man cannot read read anything, how is he reading the verse of the Holy Quran? But Ya Ibn Rasulullah, then why is he ummi? The Imam says he's ummi because Makkah is Ummul Qura. Because Makkah was known as Ummul Qura. And because he was Makki, he was ummi, Hashimi, Madani, Qarashi. Because he was from Mecca, Ummul Qura. Not because of that. But you know what the reality of the ilm of the Prophet is? In fact, Amir al-Mu'mineen says, ilmun Nabi, ilmul anbiya. The ilm of Rasul, the knowledge of the Prophet is the knowledge of all of the prophets. So whatever was given to Adam and Musa and Abraham and Ismail and Ishaq, all of that is within the Prophet. The Rabi came with the Holy Imam and he says, Ya Rasulullah, but Isa could raise the dead. In the Quran, can your grandfather Rasulullah, did he have that ilm? He said, Imam Musa he said, yes, our grandfather had that ilm. But Musa with his asa, with his staff, he parted the sea. Did your grandfather Rasulullah have that ilm? He said, yes. But Sulaiman could speak to the birds. You know, Sulaiman used to speak with Hudhud, the bird, the famous bird in the Holy Quran, Hudhud. Mantiq al-Tayr. He knew the languages of the birds. Did your grandfather Rasulullah know that? He says, yes. Our grandfather Rasulullah knew that. In fact, Rasulullah spoke 73 languages. There was not a language that Rasulullah did not know. In fact, the ilm of the Anbiya was less, and the ilm of our Jad Rasulullah was more. Because the Quran says when this bird Hudhud went missing, Sulaiman looked up, left, right, and was sitting on his throne. He says, where is Hudhud? I don't see Hudhud. Hudhud, better come back to me. Sulaiman did not know where Hudhud was. Yet Muhammad Rasulullah, when he stands on the farsh, he knows the secrets of the arsh. This is the difference. Yet all of that is within Rasulullah. Now listen to the hadith of the Imam that you heard to for his Shahadat, Imam Sadiq. There's in the Dawood, the Prophet Dawood, warith al-Anbiya. Dawood inherits from the Anbiya the ilm. Warith Sulaiman or warith Dawood. And Sulaiman inherited Dawood. And then it says that our grandfather Rasulullah inherited from Sulaiman all of that which was in Dawood and the Anbiya ma sabaq. وَإِنَّا وَرَثْنَا, and it was us who inherited directly from our Jad Muhammad Rasulullah. Now whatever was in the ilm of the Prophet was in the ilm of Jafar Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. Now you know why the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, 6th Imam says this. This is important. That's why Imam, when we say Imam Sadiq, when we say Imam Abu Hanifa, it's not the same thing. This man, Abu Hanifa, has learned his ilm. This man has inherited the ilm of Anbiya. And the ilm of Anbiya is ilmullah, which comes directly from Allah. What the Holy Imam says? The Holy Imam said, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, Hadithu Ali. My hadith is the hadith of my father. You're not tired, are you? No. I have some time, but I can cut it short if you're tired. Hadithu Ali. My saying, what I say, my hadith, is the hadith of my father. Wa hadithu Ali. Hadithu Jaddi. And what my father says is the hadith of my grandfather. Wa hadithu Jaddi, hadithu al-Husayn. And what my grandfather says is the hadith of Sayyid al-Shuhada. Wa hadithu al-Husayn was the hadith of Ali. And what Husayn says comes directly from his father Ali. Wa hadithu Ali, hadithu al-Nabi. And what Amir al-Mu'mineen says is the word of the Prophet. وَحَدِيثُ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ comes directly from Jibreel. And what comes from Jibreel, qawlullah. Yani what I say, قَالَ بَاقِرْ or قَالَ صَادِق, in reality is قَالَ اللَّهِ. It's a huge point. Imam said this. Yes, you can even say Allah said this. Why? وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ وَإِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. Imam Hussein said this, yes. But the aqeedah of Tashayyu is that Allah said this. If Ali says something, Allah said it. If Ali does something, Allah did it. Lisanuhu lisanullah. Yadduhu yaddullah. His tongue is the tongue of God. His hand is the hand of God. So if Amir al-Mu'mineen says something, Allah has said it. If Rasulullah says something, Allah has said it. If Rasulullah does something, Allah did it. So if in Ghadir he raised one's hand, Allah raised that hand. And if he says, Man kuntu mawla, Allah says, Man kuntu mawla. Because there is no difference of opinion between that which Allah says and that which Rasulullah says. Besides Allah. Everyone with me so far? So inshallah, before I come to Masail, let me just make a few more points, short points, inshallah, I'll end with Masail. Well, the sixth Imam, so this is the difference when we use the word Imam for our own Imam. We mean Mansus, chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dignified by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Given that izzah and honor by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You look through history. Any one of our Imams, do you find any teacher for any of them? Look through history. Forget Shia history. Look through non-Shia history. Look to the work of the Western writers, Orientalists, historians. Do you find anyone having taught Ali ibn Abi Talib? Do you find the name of any Ustad of Hassan or Hussein except Rasulullah? No? And brothers and sisters, this is the point where we should take pride. And really, when you come to the door of Tashayyu, you're stuck, you can't go anywhere else. Because you don't find anything better. The only time I will move from this religion is if I find a religion better than this religion. This reminds me of when Hajjaj al-Mal'un, he called Qambar before he killed Hazrat Qambar. The Qambar disowned the religion of Ali. And you save your life. Qambar says, show me a religion better than the religion of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Now leave this religion. And throughout history, if you look Maytham al-Tammar, Malik al-Ashtar, Hujr ibn Adi, Salman al-Farisi, these companions, they stuck with Ali ibn Abi Talib, they stood with Ali ibn Abi Talib because they didn't find anyone better than Ali ibn Abi Talib. In the same way, the likes of Mu'min al-Ta'a, Jabir ibn Hayyan, with the sixth holy Imam Sadiq, because they did not find a better teacher than Imam Sadiq. Sheikh Mufid in Irshad, Kitab al-Irshad, he speaks of 4,000 students. Now 4,000 at that time is a lot. From all over, from the Arab world, from far as Persia, as far as Sindh, India, Hind, Pakistan, from those areas, coming and learning the teachings directly under the leadership of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Recite salawat. Now Abu Hanifa knew, and so when he was asked, what do you think of him? You know what he said is, Ma ra'aytu ahadan afqa min Jafar ibn Muhammad. Abu Hanifa would travel the world, the Muslim world, the Arab and the non-Arab. He was non-Arab himself. He says, I did not see anyone who was more well versed in jurisprudence and fiqh من Jafar ibn Muhammad. I don't find anyone who left me speechless من Jafar ibn Muhammad. And the sixth Imam says, that out of all of the merits that you have heard about, all of the kamalat and the fadail that you've heard, you haven't even heard the alif yet. The alif and the ya, the huruf of the Arabic language, the alphabets, you have the alif and you have the ya. The Imam says you don't even have half an alif of what Allah has bestowed upon us. And despite all of that, when we hear the kamalat and the fada'il of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam, we say subhanallah, masha'Allah, that is just with the alif. Imagine we had the ba and the ta and the sa until the ya. And there's a good reason that it has been kept, the true ma'rifah Ahlul Bayt has been kept a secret, hidden from the people. Perhaps because you have a lot more people who will make Ahlul Bayt a deity, a god. There's a reason. Because man is not capable of understanding the true rank of Ahlul Bayt. One day a man really insisted to Imam Hussain alayhi salam, Mawla, tell me that which Allah has given you that no one knows. Allah says, no. The human mind cannot take it. He says, no, tell me. And he insists and he insists. The Imam takes him to a corner. And the hadith doesn't say what he said, but it says that he whispered something into his ear. It says, as soon as he heard that, he was taken by such a shock that his hair turned white. The Imam came closer. He put his hand on his head and recited something to make him forget what he said. And he returned back to his senses. And he said, it was the mercy of Allah that you forgot what I said, or you would have gone crazy. So remember, dear brothers and sisters, what Ahlul Bayt really have, we don't even know yet. So never think that we know Ahlul Bayt. We've heard it all. Yeah, they were great, but they had a limit. We don't even know their limit. We don't even know where they begin, let alone where they end. Sallu ala Muhammad. In the end, when the Holy Imam grew in popularity, as you know, the time was such that the Imam had a chance to propagate the religion. You know, Bani Abbas, Bani Umayyah are fighting. There's a transition of power. I don't want to go into that, it's a different topic. But the Imam, for this reason, had a chance to propagate the religion, and hence our books, our Shia books are filled with, who's the most quoted narrator of hadith in our books? Imam Sadiq, alayhi salam. Because he narrated the most hadith, Usul Kafi, filled with Imam Sadiq. Man la yahduruhu al-faqih, filled with the hadith of Imam Sadiq. Al-Tahdhib of Shaykh Tusi, Al-Istabsar of Shaykh, filled with قال الصادق, قال Abu Abdullah, قال Abu Abdullah Sadiq alayhi salam. In the books of hadith, Abu Abdullah refers to Imam Sadiq, but in Ziyarah, Abu Abdullah refers to Imam Hussain. Yet the irony is, Imam Bukhari does not take a single hadith from Imam Sadiq. And what really baffles the mind is that though the other books took some hadith, be it one or two, from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, Sahih al-Bukhari did not take a single narration from Imam Sadiq. Yet this book is given the highest level of authenticity. And the other books which have the hadith of Imam Sadiq are downplayed. Now what the reason for that is, I know, but I'd rather not say it. But the book which has no hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam is the most authentic book. And for this reason, it points to the fact that there was a bughz in the heart of Imam Bukhari. And ulama have written on Bukhari, and books of Ali ibn Abi Talib. Anyway, our books are filled. Yet the same Imam who taught two of them, none of the hadiths have found their way to them. And hence we are Jafari, because everything comes from Imam Jafar. Imam Jafar, Imam Jafar, Imam Jafar. But not that there is a difference between him and Imam Ali ibn Talib. Had Ali ibn Talib had a chance, Ali would have said the same thing. Had Imam Hassan had that chance, he would have said the same thing. Had Imam Hussein had that chance, he would have said the same exact thing. Kulluna min nurin wahid. Because we all come from one light. We all come from one nur. And so because he debated, the Imam's debates are famous, like the debates of Imam Ali ibn Musa in the time of Mahmud, and Imam Sadiq in the time of Mansur al-Dawani. So the debates were famous. He debated with the atheists, he debated with the Ahlul Sunnah, the other Muslims, like Imam Rada had many debates with the Sunnis. He debates with the philosophers, the Greek philosophers. He debates with the atheists, the Dahriyas of that time, the different sects of theology, the Qadariyah, the Jabariyah, the different schools that may, some of them don't exist today. Different sects back then that many of them have not survived today. But you still find them in the books. I'll give you one example, inshallah, that I end towards Masail. There was a group called the Qadariyah. At that time, they used to say, look, once God creates, you don't need Him. Man doesn't need God. And so they debated him, the Muslim scholars, and they could not answer him. So they wrote a letter to Imam al-Baqir in Medina to come and debate this man, because the top Muslim scholars have failed to debate with him and defeat him. Imam al-Baqir sends his son, young son, Imam al-Sadiq. This is my last point, and inshallah, then Imam al-Sadiq enters and he says, what is his, first he says, where's your father? We called him al-Baqir. You're young. And with all due respect, he's a professional debater. He's much older as well. The Holy Imam says, look, call him and just give me a few minutes to answer. Everyone agreed in the court. They gathered. He comes forward. He says, God created, yes, but man is not in need of God. Man has that power. Whatever I do, I pick this up myself. I pull the trigger myself. I don't need God. I don't need help. The Imam says, do you pray? He says, yes. Do you recite Surah Fatiha in your prayers? Yes. He says, you say, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. He says, yes. You alone do we worship, and you alone do we ask for help. He said, if you don't need His help, then why do you ask for His help? Every salah, every prayer. And he goes quiet. He says, forget about that, tell me, who are you? Because all these scholars I debated with, they couldn't answer this. But sometimes you just need something simple. Sometimes, when you go on debates, you think you need to have some solid points and how to overcome this guy. No, sometimes if a person really is debating for learning, not like the Hyde Park corner debates, that's something else. Those are professional debaters, they're not there to learn. They're there because debating is an art, by the way. You debate. Unfortunately, it's not the debates that you see in Hyde Park corner, they're not there to learn. It's an art, it's a fun, it's a skill. You pick on a point, one person slips here and there, you take that and you expand that, just so that you can have the upper hand. But if a person really comes to learn in a debate, then sometimes the smallest ishara is enough. Like the Urdu saying that says that, Aqal man ke liye ishara hi kafi. Right? And for him that was enough. He said, this is enough for me. The debate ended right there. The Imam was victorious in the court of the Abbasi Caliph. And he's debated with many people. A lot of people used to come from India to debate, like Indian monks and Indian, medicine that was very famous back then, Greek philosophy. Anyway, just to end it now, it came to the point that the Imam alayhi salam grew in popularity, his students began to grow, and Mansur began to get worried. And so one day, he said, go and arrest the Imam. And so in the middle of the night, they barged into the house of Imam Sadiq. Now imagine that you're in the comfort of your house with your family members. This is not me and you. This is not you and I. This is a dignified person in the community. This is the blood of the Prophet. This is an Imam from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And even if some people don't take him as an Imam, he's still the teacher of Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik. A dignified person. Imagine a high-ranking scholar person. Someone dragging him out of his house without his amama, without his proper clothing, without his turban. It was part of the dignity of the Arab that he would never leave his house without a turban or shoes in his feet. And they would drag the Imam in that state. And so when they brought him in front of the Caliph, he pulled out a sword and he tried to kill the holy Imam. The Imam Sadiq was actually so close to being killed by the sword. Because some Imams were killed by the sword. Imam Hussein. The rest of the Imams were poisoned. And Imam Sadiq was so close to being killed by the sword that when he pulled the sword, he says, I wanted to strike Jafar ibn Muhammad and I stopped. And then I wanted to strike him the second time, I stopped. And I wanted to strike him the third time. So he said to me, what is the matter with you? Why do you stop? He says, do not blame me. Every time I want to strike him, I see the reflection of Rasulullah. And Rasulullah says, what has my son done to you? What has my son, what did Jafar ibn Muhammad al-Sadiq ever do to you? And he says, so I wanted to strike him, I saw Rasulullah. I wanted to strike him for a second time, I saw Rasulullah. And so he was sent back. But not for long. You know what happened then? At that moment he didn't rest. He sent some of his men and he says, go and burn the house of Jafar Sadiq. Now imagine, in the middle of the night, Imam Sadiq is in his house. At night they burn the house of the Holy Imam. And you can just hear the crying of the children, the screams of the women. Imam comes out and he drags his family members, he collects his children, he collects the women in the house, he collects the weak, he collects everyone. And that fire was put out. But at that time he said something when the house was burning. He says, Ana ibn Ibrahim al-Khalil. He said, I am the son of Ibrahim. I am the son of Ismail. I am the son of Muhammad al-Mustafa. Whose house are you burning? The next day the Ravi comes to the Holy Imam and he sees the Imam is sitting and he's crying. And he says, Ya Rasulullah, why do you cry? No life was lost. Your children were safe. I know it was a difficult time, but what is it that makes you cry? Everything is okay. This house can be rebuilt. You know what the Imam says, and it will bring tears, it will break your heart. He said, I don't cry for myself. He says, last night when the house was burning, it reminded me of my aunt Zainab and the burning tents on the day of Ashura. It reminded me of Shami Ghaliban and how my aunt Zainab would run out of the khayma, the burning tent. He says, it reminded me of the children of my grandfather Hussein ibn Ali. Ajrakum ala Allah. What do I say? What do I say about this holy Imam? He doesn't cry for himself. He cries for his grandfather. When the tents were being burned, Bibi Zainab said to Imam Sajjad, oh son Sajjad, what do? Do we leave the khayma in this state that we're in, or do we stay inside the khayma and burn? Imam says, oh Aunt Zainab, it is wajib to save your life, so leave the khayma, leave the tent. I said, oh Imam Sadiq, when your children were running scared of the fire, you embraced them and you hugged them. But when the daughter of Hussein was running from the fire, no one embraced her, no one hugged her. She went running looking for her father, but Shimr came close to her. Adrahu Allah. There were two things that the Holy Imam really took seriously. One was the masa'ib of his grandfather Hussein. Karbala, he would never forget. Imam Sadiq went to Karbala. He would go and he would cry for Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam. He would call the people to recite. He would say, come and recite the masa'ib of Imam Hussein. He would say, come and recite the musibah of the day of Ashura. And he would cry, he would say, La yawm ka yawmika ya Aba Abdullah. And there was another musibah that Imam Sadiq never forgot. Do you know what that was? One day a person came to Imam Sadiq and he says, Yabna Rasulillah, ek shakhs aaya mere Mawla ke paas. Kaha Mawla, Parwardigar ne mujhe beti ata ki hai. To mere Mawla ne pucha, kya naam rakha hai? Kaha maine apni beti ka naam Fatima rakha hai. بس اتنا سننا تھا میرے مولا نے گریا شروع کیا. کہا سنو, بیٹی کا نام فاطمہ رکھا ہے نا, اب یاد رکھنا کبھی اس بیٹی کو تماچے نہ مارنا. بس اتنا کہا میرے مولا نے رونا شروع کر دیا. واہ جدہ جدتی فاطمہ, اپنی دادی فاطمہ کو یاد کیا. مجھے نہیں معلوم میرے مولا کے ذہن میں کیا تھا, لیکن میں اتنا جانتا ہوں کہ جب ظالم بیوی کے گھر میں داخل ہوا تھا نا, تو ظالم نے اپنا ہاتھ بیوی پر اٹھایا تھا. اور ایک جملہ ملتا ہے کہ جب ظالم نے بیوی کو تماچا مارا تھا نا, تو آپ کی آنکھوں میں خون جم گیا تھا. اسی لیے بیوی نے آخری دنوں میں کبھی اپنی آنکھوں کو اٹھا کے علی کی طرف نہیں دیکھا تھا. بس میں مولا اس جملے کا تمام کر رہا ہے, اے مولا آپ کا گھر جلا, اے میرے مولا آپ پہ ظلم ہوا, اے میرے مولا آپ کے بچے گھر میں تھے, چیخ و پکار تھی ہر طرف. لیکن اے میرے مولا, وہاں کربلا میں بھی ایک خیمہ جلا تھا. اے میرے مولا, کربلا کے خیمے تو جلے تھے, لیکن مدینے میں بھی ایک گھر جلا تھا, اور وہ دختر رسول کا گھر تھا. اے میرے مولا, آپ کی ناموس آپ کے سامنے محفوظ تھی, آپ کی بیٹی آپ کے سامنے تھی, آپ کی ازواج آپ کے سامنے تھی, لیکن ہائے میرا مولا علی دیکھ رہا تھا, سیدہ پہ چلتا ہوا ڈر گر رہا تھا, امام حسن دیکھ رہے تھے, میرے مولا حسین دیکھ رہے تھے. اسی لیے کسی نے میرے مولا حسن سے کہا, شہادت سیدہ, آخری جملہ زحمت تمام ہو گئی. کسی نے میرے مولا سے کہا, اے آقا حسن آپ کتنا روئیں گے, آپ کتنا گریا کریں گے, جو ہونا تھا ہو گیا. میرے مولا نے رو کے کہا کہ تم نے انصاف نہیں کیا. اگر تو بھی دیکھتا جو میری آنکھوں نے دیکھا ہے, تو خدا کی قسم تو بھی گریا کرتا. کہا مولا آپ نے کیا دیکھا؟ کہا میں بچہ تھا, میں مدد کو پکار رہا تھا, مسلمانوں میں کوئی مدد کو نہ آیا, اتنے میں ایک ظالم تازیہ لے کے میری باتیں قریب آ گیا. الا لعنۃ اللہ علی القوم الظالمین وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. پروردگارا اس مختصر سی بات کو اپنی بارگاہ میں قبول و منظور فرما. واسطہ محمد و آل محمد کا, واسطہ امام جعفر صادق علیہ السلام کا, قبر جعفر صادق کی زیارت نصیب فرما. ہمارے مولا ہمارے آپ امام جعفر صادق کو ہم سے راضی و خوشنود فرما. واسطہ محمد و آل محمد کا پروردگارا, دنیا میں زیارت امام جعفر صادق, آخرت میں شفاعت امام صادق علیہ السلام نصیب فرما. واسطہ محمد و آل محمد کا پروردگارا, جہاں جہاں شیعہ جامع حیدر کرار ہے, ان کی جان پر عزت کی حفاظت فرما. پروردگارا واسطہ محمد و آل محمد کے یہاں کے بانیان منتظمین جنہوں نے یہ کوشش کی ہے, پروردگارا کی کوششوں کو, کی محنتوں کو, ان کی کاوشوں کو اپنی بارگاہ میں قبول و منظور فرما. واسطہ محمد و آل محمد کا پروردگارا, جو مومنین تشریف فرما ہے کہ مرحومین کی درجات بلند فرما. واسطہ محمد و آل محمد کا پروردگارا, جو یہاں علیل ہے, بیمار ہے, مریض ہے, پروردگارا بحق جعفر صادق علیہ السلام نے شفاء عاجلہ و کاملہ عطا فرما. یا حسین
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein,
Ya Hussein,
Ya Hussein,
Ya Hussein,
Ya Hussein,
Ya Hussein,
Ya Hussein,
Ya Hussein.
Ya Hussein.
اے مومنو پیام سرور کو یاد رکھنا 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 لے گا نہ جانے کتنی یہ کروٹیں زمانہ لے گا نہ جانے کتنی یہ کروٹیں زمانہ چاہے ہر ایک شے کو دنیا کی بھول جانا چاہے ہر ایک شے کو دنیا کی بھول جانا چاہے ہر ایک شے کو دنیا کی بھول جانا اجڑا جو ایک دن میں اس گھر کو یاد رکھنا اے مومنو پیام سرور کو یاد رکھنا اے مومنو پیام سرور کو یاد رکھنا آغوش میں تمہاری معصوم کوئی آئے آغوش میں تمہاری معصوم کوئی آئے جب پیار سے کوئی ماں جھولا سے جھلائے جب پیار سے کوئی ماں جھولا سے جھلائے جب پیار سے کوئی ماں جھولا سے جھلائے بانوں کی بے بسی کو اصغر کو یاد رکھنا اے مومنو پیام سرور کو یاد رکھنا اے مومنو پیام سرور کو یاد رکھنا آ جائے جب کسی پر تقدیر سے یتیمی آ جائے جب کسی پر تقدیر سے یتیمی فرقت میں باپ کی جب مر جائے کوئی بچی فرقت میں باپ کی جب مر جائے کوئی بچی اولاد والوں میری دکھ پر کو یاد رکھنا اے مومنو پیام سرور کو یاد رکھنا اے مومنو پیام سرور کو یاد رکھنا تم کو خدا دکھائے خوشیوں کا ہر سویرا تم کو خدا دکھائے خوشیوں کا ہر سویرا قسمت سے جب بھی باندھو اپنے پسر کے صحرا قسمت سے جب بھی باندھو اپنے پسر کے صحرا قاسم کو یاد رکھنا اکبر کو یاد رکھنا اے مومنو پیام سرور کو یاد رکھنا اے مومنو پیام سرور کو یاد رکھنا دیکھو نہ زندگی میں مرنا جواں پسر کا دیکھو نہ زندگی میں مرنا جواں پسر کا بیٹے کا داغ دل پر ہوتا ہے عمر بھر کا بیٹے کا داغ دل پر ہوتا ہے عمر بھر کا لیلا کی حسرتوں کو اکبر کو یاد رکھنا اے مومنو پیام سرور کو یاد رکھنا اے مومنو پیام سرور کو یاد رکھنا بہنوں کو بیٹیوں کو جب بھی ردا اڑانا بہنوں کو بیٹیوں کو جب بھی ردا اڑانا ہم بے کسوں کو ہرگز دل سے نہیں بھلانا ہم بے کسوں کو ہرگز دل سے نہیں بھلانا میری بہن کے سر کی چادر کو یاد رکھنا اے مومنو پیام سرور کو یاد رکھنا اے مومنو پیام سرور کو یاد رکھنا اے مومنو پیام سرور کو یاد رکھنا صلوات و سلام آپ پہ یا فاطمہ زہرا 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 ہم آئے ہیں عرصے کے لیے فاطمہ زہرا صلوات से जरी का, हम देखते हैं गुस्सा तुम्हें अब्बास से जरी का, और अकबर दिलगीर का या फातिमा ज़हरा, सलवात व सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, सलवात व सलाम आप पे या फातिमा ज़हरा, हम आए हैं पुरसे के लिए फातिमा ज़हरा।
There's about 5 minutes left for Salah. Please perform welcome. The bathrooms are as you enter for men and women. And if you can help me guys to set the prayer mats as well. We're going to do Jamaat Salah inshallah. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.